So the new 9% corporate tax just got introduced in the UAE, and this got a lot of people confused because right now they don't know, can you have a Dubai free zone company and continue to pay 0% corporate tax, or will you be subject to the 9% corporate tax like everyone else? So that's why in this video I'm going to explain everything you need to know about the new 9% corporate tax just got introduced in the UAE, and I'm going to explain first of all, who will be subject to the 9% corporate tax, who will be exempt and will continue to pay 0% corporate tax. I'm going to explain which activities and sources of income won't be subject to corporate tax. I'm going to explain how the new corporate tax affects Dubai free zone companies. And I'm going to share with you a few ways of how you can continue to pay 0% corporate tax as an entrepreneur and investor despite the new corporate tax law. And the good news is that you're getting all this information in this video for a total cost of simply liking this video and subscribing to this YouTube channel, which really helps me a lot with being able to make more of these videos for you. And not only that, but if you need any help and assistance with being able to register a free zone company in Dubai, with getting residency, tax residency, with being able to open a bank account and decreasing your taxes, then simply feel free to book a call with me and I would love to help you out. You should know that I'm an authorized partner of EXPAT, one of the free zones in Dubai and the UAE, and I'm fully trained and certified to be able to register companies in the free zone and assist with residency visas. And with that being said, let's go back to the video and explain you everything you need to know about the UAE corporate tax. So now, before I explain how you can continue to pay 0% corporate tax in Dubai and share with you a few ways on how you can do that, first of all, I want to explain who will be subject to the 9% corporate tax in the UAE. First of all, these are UAE companies who will be subject to pay corporate tax on their profits above 375,000 dirhams, which is about $102,096, which means that on the first 375,000 dirhams, UAE companies pay 0% corporate tax, and only on the profits above 375,000 dirhams they pay 9% corporate tax. For example, if you make $105,000, on the first $102,096 you pay 0% corporate tax, and on the other $2,904 you pay 9% corporate tax, which is a total of $261.36. So besides UAE companies, subject to corporate tax will also be foreign companies that are effectively managed and controlled in the UAE, and also foreign companies that have permanent establishment in the UAE. So this means that if you have a foreign company and you live in Dubai and you manage that company from in Dubai, you will be subject to the 9% corporate tax, unless you have a Dubai company as a holding company that owns your foreign company as a subsidiary, or you're just a shareholder of the foreign company and you're not involved with management. And in these both cases, your foreign company won't be subject to the 9% corporate tax. So now I want to explain what type of income is not subject to the 9% corporate tax in Dubai and the UAE. First of all, this is employment income. So any amount of income that you earn from salary won't be subject to the 9% corporate tax, and you continue to pay 0% tax on it. The second is real estate income. So if you own real estate in Dubai and the UAE and you receive income from it, this income won't be subject to the 9% corporate tax, and you continue to pay 0% tax on it. Third of all, this is personal investment income. This includes income from assets that you own or investments that you've made, including interests and dividends. So important thing about dividends. Dividends received from domestic companies and shareholdings will be exempt from corporate tax without condition, and dividends received from foreign companies and shareholdings will be exempt if they meet the conditions for the participation exemption. To meet the requirements, you either have to first have 5% or greater ownership interest in a foreign company, or two, has an acquisition value of at least 4 million dirhams in the capital or equity of the foreign company. Capital gains foreign exchange gains and losses, and impairment gains and losses from domestic or foreign participating interests are also not subject to corporate tax. So this means that if you trade crypto, forex, stocks, commodities, in general, you won't be subject to the 9% corporate tax. So now let's look at who actually won't be subject to the 9% corporate tax in Dubai and the UAE and will continue to pay 0% tax. The majority of the exempt persons are actually not worth talking about because you won't be able to benefit as an entrepreneur or investor. And I'm talking about the UAE government and all public institutions, companies wholly owned by the UAE government, businesses engaged in the extraction of UAE national resources, and so on. But there are two types of persons that are actually worth mentioning. And first, this is the qualifying investment fund. So qualifying investment funds that meet certain conditions will be exempt from the corporate tax. And second, these are the qualifying free zone persons. And now I want to explain how you can actually continue to pay 0% corporate tax with the Dubai Free Zone company. And I want to give you a few ways on how you can do that. The first way is to be a qualifying free zone person. So if you have a Dubai Free Zone company and you meet the conditions to be a qualifying free zone person, then you can pay 0% corporate tax on your qualifying income. And your non-qualifying income will be taxed at 9%, again on profits above 375,000 dirhams. So to be considered a qualifying free zone person, you have to first maintain adequate substance in the UAE, second, derive qualifying income, third, have not made an election to be subject to the standard corporate tax, fourth, comply with transfer pricing requirements, and last, maintain audited financial statements. So to be able to demonstrate adequate substance in the free zone, you have to have adequate staff, assets, and also adequate operation expenditure in the free zone for the purpose of generating your core income activity. Keep in mind that even if you're just one shareholder employing yourself from the company and working from the free zone, you can still qualify to be considered a qualifying free zone person depending on the nature of your business. You're also allowed to outsource to related and unrelated parties, provided that you exercise control and supervision over the outsourced activities. So what is considered qualifying income? So qualifying income includes three categories of income. So first, this is income from transactions with other free zone persons, provided these are not excluded activities. So this means that if you do business with other free zone companies, this income will be subject to 0% corporate tax as long as you're not involved with certain excluded activities. So the second type of income is income from transactions with non-free zone persons, but only in respect to qualifying activities that are not considered excluded activities. So this means that if you do business with customers outside of the UAE free zones, no matter if these are customers from UAE mainland or from abroad, if your income comes from qualifying activities, and as long as these are not excluded activities, you'll be paying 0% corporate tax. And the third is any other type of income, provided that the qualifying free zone person satisfies the de minimis requirements. So if your non-qualifying income is below 5% of your total revenue, or 5 million dirhams, whichever of the two is lower, then in this case, all of your income will be considered a qualifying income and you'll be subject to 0% corporate tax. But what happens if you're not a qualifying free zone person, you don't meet the adequate substance requirements, and you don't have a qualifying income? So in this case, can you still pay 0% corporate tax with a Dubai free zone company? And the answer is yes, because your second option is to apply for the small business relief. And the small business relief allows you, if your revenue of your Dubai free zone company is below 3 million dirhams per year, which is about $816,000, you can pay 0% corporate tax. This means that as long as you make less than $816,000 per year, you won't be subject to corporate tax. And not only that, but with the small business relief, you also don't need to calculate your taxable income and file a full corporate tax return. And you also don't need to meet the requirements to be a qualifying free zone person and to have qualifying income. Keep in mind that if you exceed the 3 million dirhams per year in revenue, you will no longer be eligible for the small business relief and you have to pay the 9% corporate tax. So what happens if you're not a qualifying free zone person and you also make more than 3 million dirhams per year in revenue. In this case, can you still pay 0% corporate tax? And the answer is yes, because in the UAE there are also 0% tax on salaries, and salaries count as a deductible business expense. So this means that even if you're subject to the 9% corporate tax, you can pay yourself everything from the company's salary and still pay 0% corporate tax in the UAE. And keep in mind that if the profit of your company falls below 375,000 dirhams, you will pay 0% corporate tax. So let's say you make $1 million per year in profit with your Dubai Free Zone company. And because you do business with customers from abroad and you have non-qualifying activities, you don't qualify for the 0% corporate tax. At the same time, your revenue is higher than 3 million dirhams per year, so that's why you don't qualify for the small business relief. So in this case, you can simply pay yourself $1 million per year in salary and bonuses and pay 0% income tax on that. And because the salary counts as a business expense for the company, you end up decreasing the profit of your company from $1 million per year to $0, and then you end up paying no corporate tax. Keep in mind that 9% corporate tax only applies on profits above 375,000 dirhams. So as long as you keep the profits of your company below 375,000 dirhams, you'll be paying 0% corporate tax. And with that being said, if you need any help and assistance with being able to register a free zone company in Dubai, with being able to get residency, tax residency, with being able to decrease your taxes, and you have some questions or you need a free consultation, just simply click on the link down below, book a call with me, and I would love to help you out. Meanwhile, you can also check my video here on how to set up a Dubai Free Zone company. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.